Hey everybody, welcome to another model building workshop. I'm Mr. Allen. I'm coming to you from my basement workshop here in Providence, Rhode Island on behalf of the Community Libraries of Providence. And today we're looking at this kit here. This is the U.S. self-propelled anti-aircraft gun, the M42 Duster, which comes with 3 figures. Now this kit's been around a while, but it has been reissued many times, including this version. This particular reboxing is from 2019. So this is the classic Tamiya kit with a slightly cleaned up look with a new box. It's got some fun illustrations on the side for different painting options, including this colorful example in the winter here for training. That's a winter scheme. More about that in a minute. So yeah, this is a kit that's been around a while, and it's based on the M41 Walker Bulldog kit, which Tamiya is out for a long time, and we'll talk about that kit in an upcoming episode because that's a classic Tamiya model kit, and it's one of those you can get at Hobby Lobby among other places. But yeah, so this is the anti-aircraft version of that. So this was, let's see, development began in 1950 and looks like it was successfully tested and officially accepted into the United States Army at the end of 1953. So, this is after the Korean War then at this point, when this one comes online. Let's see, it's a fast-moving, fully tracked armored combat vehicle, 2 anti-aircraft guns, and a Continental air-cooled opposed 6-cylinder engine, which is the same as that of the M41 light tank, the Walker Bulldog. See, the engine produced more than 500 horsepower, which allowed this guy to go at 70 kilometers an hour. So, wow. This was armed with 2 long-barreled Type M2A1 40mm anti-aircraft guns, plus a 30 caliber machine gun. And these were the guns. These guns were based on the the Swedish Bofors 40mm aircraft guns, which were pretty much the prime anti-aircraft gun throughout World War II in that era. So, and those guns were capable of firing 240 rounds per minute. So, wow. And you had a crew of 6 in here. Let's see, which was the commander, a driver, gunner, gun layer, and 2 loaders. So, yeah. And here's the instruction sheet here in the typical Tamiya fashion. And this, like I said, is the the 2019 updated release of this kit. Well, I don't know how updated it is, so it did get a new instruction sheet. You got some interesting options here, what you want to do. There's a U.S. Army version for Vietnam. There's the Japanese Ground Self-Defense Forces, and then there is the former West German Army back in the day. So your construction is pretty what you would expect with these classic Tamiya kits. I would say, which we'll talk about the M41 Walker Bulldog soon, which has a lot of the same parts and the same things going on here, except the turret design on this one, because it's open-topped. So it's got a lot of things different, obviously, from that kit. So there's a lot more to this kit than the Walker Bulldog kit. You get a lot going on with the interior of that turret. And here's the mounting of the anti-aircraft guns here. And you got some options there for machine guns. So it looks like it's got a didn't mention that in the story there. So you have the M1919, the 30 caliber machine gun, and then you got a later M60 machine gun, which is you know, like Vietnam era. So you have an option there. So that's interesting. So you have some choices, you know, for the defensive armament for this thing. And there's your crew, which is basically 3 figures, which look like they are from the Tamiya tank crew set that they had. They've had that out for a long time. Looks like that kit, and you've got the shells for the 40 millimeter anti-aircraft guns. I think there's an option with the, if you bought this tank crew set separately, I think there's options for what that soldier can be carrying, but that's interesting. In this case, they have the gluable tracks, so that's a change from the original kit from way back that had the, you know, you had to melt those pins with a screwdriver that was heated or something like that. So these are gluable. I don't know, this is a 2019 kit, if they had discovered the issue that they had with their gluable vinyl tracks, in that I had tried doing a Panther and a T-72 from Tamiya with these gluable rubber tracks. And what would happen is if you put a like enamel or lacquer based paint on it, like a lacquer thinner wash, those tracks would dry up and just shatter. So I don't know if that issue is still with this kit, which is released in 2019, if that's still a problem with these tracks. So it's something to keep in mind if you're going to use these gluable rubber vinyl type tracks. I would stick with acrylic paint, just from my experiences of you know, trying to weather the Panther and the T-72 tracks. I was doing both these projects at the same time, you know, and trying to make a wash for both of them. And lo and behold, they didn't dry. It became a, like ribbon candy, if you've ever seen that. It was terrible. So, and thus they make individual track links for those kits, I think, to compensate for that issue. You know, and of course giving you an option for something more detailed. But kind of 2 reasons for that thing being out there. So just a heads up on that could be a problem here. So here are some of your painting options, because the box says more than what you see here. So you have the U.S. Army and Vietnam up top with that fun horse, or the chess piece of the knight there on the front. I think it's the "Have Guns Will Travel" thing, which is kind of fun. Fun slogan. Then there's the Japanese self-defense forces there, and bottom is the West German with the Iron Cross on it. So these are all like in an olive drab. Yeah, these are all in olive drab, typical for the time period. So we're, you know, doing with the 50s and 60s. And the other one was, we looked at it a second ago, with this fun white wash winter scheme with that really interesting circle and triangle. And apparently what this is it's not just, I think it's safe to say, wargaming and training, but this was called the aggressor units. So there was a group in wargaming that were the aggressors. So, and there was a whole backstory they came up with for this aggressor nation concept, and it's very involved. So it kind of takes this whole idea of training and prepping for the Cold War kind of conditions, and takes it another level by coming up with this whole fictitious backstory about this aggressor nation state concept and this whole philosophy. Anyway, I can't explain it very well. I would suggest you you Google that, because it's pretty intense. This whole story and theory and concept that they were using. You know, for those of us that grew up with the GI Joes, this is the later period GI Joes. They had this whole thing with Cobra, which was the enemy forces, or say James Bond and Spectre. It's like, so they had this whole thing going on with the aggressor. Anyway, look it up. It's quite interesting. So let's take a look at some of the parts here. Picked this up at a model show not that long ago. So I got some extra decals that kind of came with this. Got some decals that came with... Yeah, this has nothing to do with this kit, but since it's in the box, I'll show you. Something from Academy here. So that was just thrown in this box. You never know what you're going to find when you pick up a kit at a show. Sometimes you get extra stuff. I know we just looked at these, the decals. I mean, it's still in the container there and the paper, but you get the idea. And it was fun, white and circles with the green for that whole aggressor concept. These look promising. I've done pretty well with Tamiya decals. I know people have mixed thoughts on them, but they usually settle down well with either the the micro set stuff, or I've even used Salvaset. Also, Salvaset can be a little harsh on some decals. You gotta be careful, but I've done pretty well if you need to. Sometimes they just go right on a gloss surface without any problems. But anyway, so you get this tree here. So this is new to the M42 kit as opposed to the M41. These are the guns and so forth that make up the the anti-aircraft armament. So this is originally a 1970s kit. So keep in mind that that's what's going on with this. So the tech is from that time period. I know it's been reboxed and got a nice new box art here, but it's still pretty much the same old kit from back then. Yeah, so here's the U.S. Army Tank Crew set that I was talking about. And this really dates back like the 70s as well. And if you'll notice there, if you can see that, they have the different types of shells for different vehicles that you could put this set with. And it's included this clip here of shells for the anti-aircraft guns. So they thought this in advance, and they put this this set together. Now I think the faces look pretty good on this, but the molded on helmets and some of the detail, it does show its age, but hey, nostalgic fun. This is still kind of interesting. Running gear. To be honest, the decals, yeah, I'm a little tired today, I guess. The details on these tires could be a little better. But there's that. One thing I've noticed on some of these kits, and I'll show you on the M41 hopefully soon, because I'm currently working on that one right now. But I'll show you that when I get closer to finishing it, so you can see how that's coming along. But the 50 caliber machine gun on these kits is a little and I decided I ended up sourcing, in this case, this is one I'm doing for the M41, and I'm going with the Academy one here. So, although I don't think it's even used in this particular kit, the M42. The hull is a tub, and you've already got the torsion bars on it. Global tracks have already been done for me by the looks here from the previous owner. Turn Trying to figure where the joint is. Yeah. Hard to tell if that was glued or melted. But in any case, they're already done. Your hull is pretty much one piece here. Now if you look at that, because you get the hatches already built on it and closed. So yeah, it's got 70s detail. Let's put it that way. So those out there that want a more detailed variant of this vehicle have to look elsewhere. My initial thought with this, I had thought of getting this, for the kids at the library, since we are going to be doing, the M41 Bulldog tank is a tank kit that we've done many times at the library with older kids and teens. It's a very popular kit. It's an easy one to get around here. Hobby shops tend to have that all the time. I mentioned Hobby Lobby for those big lot stores. They tend to have it as well. Usually on sale. So it's a kit that's not complicated to come across. And it's a pretty simple, 1970s tech model kit. So it's not complicated for kids, with some skill to put together. This one, like I said, seems to have a lot more going on with this anti-aircraft mounting. So I had thought of doing this with kids, but it looks like this is going to be a little bit more complicated for a kid than the closed-up tank version of the M41. So I will probably try this one myself and have some fun with this. It looks like it could be enjoyable. There's a skill in putting the parts back in the box. I don't seem to have that right now, so I'm going to leave it like this. But I think this could be a fun one to do in a nostalgic kind of way, because it's a nice winter project, but you can just kind of belt something out. I often do single color vehicles in the winter because having an old house, I don't really currently don't have the luxury of having an indoor spray booth, so mine's in the garage, which is a detached building, which tends to be cold. So when I get a warm day, I tend to head out there and do my painting, and I usually pick a simple single color thing to put together, just because New England winters are very unpredictable. But hey, that's my situation, not yours. So anyway, that is a look at the M42 Duster kit. Yeah, I think it's going to be fun. I don't expect miracles out of this kit at all. I don't expect it to be, a show winner, but I still think it could be entertaining to do. And might bring back some childhood memories of, kits I built as a kid. And to be fair, and we'll talk about this later, the M41 certainly scratches that itch as well. And that'll come up soon. All right, so hope you're having a good new year. We'll see you soon with another video. Thanks, and keep on building. Take it easy now. Bye.